Hello, welcome back everyone, and maybe I should just talk a little bit softer to those of you who like to play my video first thing on a Saturday or Sunday morning just to ease you into the weekend. I love it when you leave me a message like that. I'm normally running around with a big food shop thinking, oh, those days will come. Those days will come where I can just chill in bed for a little bit, but such a sweet, considerate way to start the weekend by leaving me a message. Today we are going to be doing great beauty and skincare buys under £20. Some of the things that you've probably seen me use before, some new things, some recommended things. But I thought a nice summer beauty bargain would be a good way to do a film. I've always got so many ideas. It's kind of like this sort of, as I've said before, popcorn brain, but no, I'm happy with this one. Now, I hope you're all well, and thank you so much for all your lovely support for my first live TV appearance. I was terribly nervous and I had to dig deep, but yeah, smashed it in the end. And well, not smashed it, but I did it without throwing things around, without going blank or squeaking, all those things that you think that you might do in a really random way on live TV, which I didn't. Anyway, let's get on with the show. I was going to say, no, Caroline, it's a little film to all your followers. It's not a show. Let's get on with the beauty advice. First of all is CereVe Skin Renewing Vitamin C Serum. Now, this is new to the UK. And people that have been able to go to America and buy products have always been raving about this, but we haven't been able to have it in the UK. I'm not sure why. It's something to do with the ingredients. I have asked the PR because I wanted to give you more information, but I haven't heard back from them yet. Anyway, I've been using it only for the last 4 days. Pure honesty, look, you can see it's just a tiny bit. It's a really beautiful serum. 10% ascorbic acid, so it's really potent, but it's great for sensitive skin. And with any kind of vitamin C, you need to make sure that you open it and use it all the way through. And an antioxidant, a vitamin C, is wonderful for just giving our skin a little bit of protection against the free radicals that come from pollution or sunlight, or maybe someone having a cigarette next to you. It doesn't happen so often these days. But that creates the long-term aging effect of pigmentation, fine lines. But most importantly, I find that vitamin C, a great vitamin C, if you can tolerate it, this is for sensitive skin, is just great at the brightness of your skin. Now, it's microscopic. You're not going to suddenly go woohoo. But if your skin is dull and lackluster, definitely after about 10 days use of a good vitamin C, you will definitely see a brightness. So if you've kind of got about the routine, check this one out. I love it. Now this, Avène Tinted Cream. Who's used this? It was on a girlfriend of mine. It's SPF 50 and I love Avène. And I was just like, what have you put on your skin, babe? It looks beautiful. We were travelling in a car and she was like, it's Avène. Her friend had recommended it. So I'm going to show you. Now, this is really lovely and tinted. Now, it's SPF 50, so you'll want to obviously have that full protection because you are applying it to get the protection, right? Which I'm going to put all over my face. But where I'm not going to put it is just down that sort of centre panel here where I tend to get greasy. So it sounds a bit ridiculous, but it will just emphasise, that glow will just emphasise kind of my fine lines. So I could just do it and apply it and not tell you. But I'll just use a little bit of other SPF, which I applied on first for that area. But too much glow, as I've spoken to you many times before, can tip the scales of something looking really beautiful and radiant to you sort of looking like you've just been working in a chip shop for the last 24 hours. So you need to be mindful of where you put this glow. But because it's an SPF 50, you also need to make sure that you've covered the areas that you haven't. And I'm just going into detail. This is just my little isms. Of course, you don't have to be as specific as I am. But look, it's really lovely. So I just put on my normal SPF and I put this on top as a bit of double protection. But it is such a lovely, I've got daylight here, so no lights that you would normally see on social media where it's overlit. And it's just so flattering on the skin. So this is my #1 summer skin product at the moment. And I also feel like it's not the lightest in texture, but it's SPF 50, and I know obviously you can get ultraviolet, and there are different brands that have that 50 or ones without colour. But I quite like the sort of guarded effect that it gives my skin. Like if I'm if I'm sunbathing, I feel that my skin is like totally protected. It's a really, really lovely, comfy, hydrating formula. So yes, that is my little skin tip. So we've got a couple of concealers here. Obviously you know that I love the Super Luminous Serum Concealer from Beauty Pie. And often I've used the Multitasker by Rimmel. Two different concealers for different reasons, and maybe some of you still are a little unsure. So let's just go through this as well. And I really appreciate all your feedback from the bronzer masterclass. It might be nice to do a powder one or a mascara one, just to kind of, because you know, you think that everybody knows what you know, but of course you've all got different lives, not thinking about makeup. So I guess it's quite nice to kind of have a refresh on application of different products. So anyway, quickly on this, this is a luminous, as it says on the packaging, and it's correct. Luminous finish means it's reflective, so it's great for dark circles. So I'm not particularly dark under my eyes. If I was, I would go in with the opaque concealer first and tap that in, or a colour corrector. That would be a good masterclass actually, wouldn't it, under eyes? And then go in with a light one. But just for this look, because it's not super, super heavy, because I just don't like to wear super, super heavy makeup when the temperatures are slightly warmer in this season, should I say. I don't even know what season it is, because it's certainly not summer in London. I just love the effect of this. I love the brightness, and I just love the brightness around the tear duct, so it kind of like shapes my eye, but it doesn't age the skin. Very much like the Delilah Wake Up under eye cream as well. That has got a similar thing, but the colour isn't as heavy as this. It's more of like a brightening eye cream. So yeah, that is the under eye cream. Let me just do the other side. And I would use the other concealer just to perfect like the irregularity around my nose, and just probably around my temples if I just want a little bit more coverage. But actually the Aven does quite a nice softening effect of that. So I probably don't need too much. You can see how I just literally, I mean, I hardly did anything. It just sort of, it's a sort of, not dilutes, it just connects really beautifully with the skin. This shade is 3030 Light. So I'm just going to pop a little bit just on this area. And it's just a really great long-lasting product. And I wouldn't use this around my eye. Sorry, if I was to use it around my eyes, like I explained, if I was darker, I'd probably use it with a smaller applicator, because the doe foot is nice and fat and chunky, which we love, but it would probably give you too much product, and then you would end up with too much heavier concealer. But I love the fact of this sort of like patting motion just around here. Again, not sort of overloading around my mouth. Let that sort of settle in and push it into the skin. And it lasts really, really well. But you only want to use a small amount. So let me just buff in very slightly, just with the edge of this brush, pushing. So my brushes will come out in September. I'm going to have a little mini break now so I can get ready and re-inspire and sort out my life and the house and everything else, and come back in September. I think the first film I'll introduce you to my brushes, which I'm very excited about. It's only a small collection, but I've got one that's like it has the tricks of a cotton bud. So it's indicative of how I apply makeup. And they're really kind of like soft, creamy, goldy green packaging, which is nice. So sort of very much like a cross between professional and lifestyle. Anyway, I'll show you in September. And then in the middle of August, my mum's having her eyebrows second treatment. It's totally our fault. My mum wasn't able to go and see Miriam for one reason or another. So we had to keep moving it. So that's why there's a delay on that. And she wanted to show you the complete finish, because it does make a difference when you go second time. Right, okay, let me take that off my hand. So lovely. That is what I'm loving. So I will probably now recommend, so there is another lovely, I know I've shown you this before, the Wonder Filter. I'm going to apply it. This is a powder from Beauty Pie that's got a really lovely sort of iridescent finish to it. So if you are someone who has oily skin, combination skin, and you just want to kind of set something, but you still want to set your makeup, but you still want it to look, you know, multi-dimensional, so it's not flat, and feels like silk. It's such a beautiful, beautiful texture, and you'll never ever run out of this. It's £12. It's just, yeah, it's just really, really lovely product. Again, a bit fiddly. If you don't like a loose powder, that won't be your cup of tea. I don't think they do it in a compact. I'm almost sure they don't. So I've got a few little skin things. I'm not sure where to decide what to go for first. So let's go for brows next. I've chosen the NYX Lift and Snatch, and this is ash brown. Let me have a little brush through of the brows first, I think. Just have a little brush through. It's a Kosas one, but that's out of our budget. Just give them a nice little brush up through first. I love to still ink my brows, not every day, because I'm fortunate to have a little bit of colour in them. Just make sure that you tap it down, put it on your hand first, and then just very, oops, she says very, 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 very lightly. That was too much for me. Before it dries, very lightly tip to the top. That's better. Very fine, fine hairlight strokes. Just bring it through. They do so many colours, and the delivery system is great. It lasts, and it just looks so natural. So you just have to be so super delicate. Now, what I might do is do a little bit of a line there and just use this brush just to break it up so it doesn't look solid. Maybe just do a little bit of breaking up just there. That's better, I think. That's just quite nice and soft. The difference is wonderful, right? And you have to think about them for the rest of the day. I think I've said this before, when I had my brows tattooed, not microbladed, I asked for a morning brow, because which I coined myself with Miriam. It's not like a thing, because I wanted to be able to have a brow that I sort of woke up with. My brows, if you look back to my old videos, they were really odd shape. I've had funny brows all my life. So I wanted to wake up with a nice shape that looked natural, but something that I could then build up if I wanted to, because I think if you have your eyebrows tattooed, microbladed, and they're very heavy when you've got no makeup on, as your face gets older and a little bit softer in shape, the two are kind of fighting against each other. So just little fine hair strokes like so. And break that up just a little bit underneath it, add a bit of structure. I feel bad using that Kosas brush, but I quite like the colour. This is just a nice coal one, but doesn't fit for this video. Okay, good. Ta-da! Fine. So now this is an eye palette that I've talked a lot about, Expert Eye Palette from Max Factor. Now you can see which colour that I absolutely love. It's this kind of pewtery, goldy, browny shade, but I've got extra ones here. I love this for the fact that it's got this extraordinary texture, which is really premium, I think, for the fact that I don't even like to use it with a brush. I apply the black with a brush, but for me, sometimes you just want a little bit of a wash, you just want a bit of shape, but I don't want to fiddle around with any powder. I don't want a brush. It's like a quick sort of like morning eye, but I want to knock the eye back so it gives it a little bit of shape compared to the other eye. And then I'll do a little bit of brown just on the outside there, literally with the fat part of my ring finger, and then a little bit of black along the lash line. But really, sorry, let me just show you that, really, really super soft, but it has a graduation of 3 colours, so it has a little bit of something about it. Let me just put that darker colour on the outside first on this eye. And that's me done, so it's like 10 seconds an eye. I just always keep going back to it. I love this colour palette. It's warm and it's cool, so it's pretty much suitable for everyone. They've got lots of different shades. They've got like purples and stuff, but it's a real product that I don't really think that gets much attention. But the formula is just really sheer and soft, and yet, I mean, it moves a little bit throughout the day because it's a soft cream, but I don't really mind that. It's fine. But if I just want to add a little bit of tonal shape to my eye without faffing around too much, that is what I will use. So check those out if you haven't checked them out already. Now, I was judging some awards for Marie Claire, their beauty awards, and I hadn't tried the Panorama L'Oreal mascara. This is brilliant. So many great mascaras in Superdrug Boots at the moment for sort of under £10. You really don't need to spend any more than that, even though I've got my favourites and I love them, but this is great. Now look at this brush. It goes from a point to kind of like a thicker end, and the bristles are 2 different lengths. But look at this. Doof, straight away lift. Now, what I loved about it when I first applied it, and often when you first apply a mascara, have you ever tried this, where you've put it on, it's had all the hype, you're really excited to have these transformative lashes, and then they're like, oh, and you have to go, and then you sort of get the magic. This was like 2 strokes, and it's something to do with the fact that it's got these much tighter bristles, tightly packed bristles at the side, but it's really giving a wing out to my eye. It's really lifting that sort of outer edge of my eye without me doing anything. It's almost like I've curled the edge. But when I come into the interior part, my inner corner, because it's softer, it's just much more gentle. So clever. And my sister has got quite lazy lashes, like they just don't want to come to play or lift. And she was like, please, can I have that mascara when you finish with it? I'm just going to show you again, look. Close and lift. And it feels like that. Yeah, it feels like, you know, when you put mascara, it feels like my lashes are, got confidence, the wrong word, but they're in the brush is giving me control. And I feel like I'm putting mascara on and it's just like doing what you'd always expect it to do. Really like the fact that the brush is tiny as you go in, so it stops you having to remove, or for me anyway, the mascara because the brush is too big going into the inner corner. It's just a really clever brush. And the formula is great. I haven't had any issues with streaking or it running. But yes, if you're in the shops for a mascara and you want this sort of fan-like effect, or you're fancying a new brush or sort of, you know, change to what you're normally used to, I highly recommend this. It's a tenner. Great. Okay, so that's the eyes done, soft. Okay, so I thought, well, I've got a little bit of bronzer. That was the Beauty Pie bronzer, but I might just do a really cute sort of cheek, because we talked about bronzers last week, but I just thought this is quite a nice soft peachy combination. They're both e.l.f. products, but I want to use them together to show you the difference. So this lovely little peachy colour, actually I can't read the name, so I'll put that in the description, is really, really gentle, and not all of us want to have that bronzy vibe. And actually when I was reading your comments, a lot of people are like, oh, well, I'm really pale, I don't want to do that, and I'm happy being pale. Great, not everyone has to be bronzy. So I thought this would be a nice option rather than just going in with another bronzer. So I'm going to take this colour and I'm just going to do it like a little angly shade like this. Okay, because I want to create a little bit of a lift. And again, just making sure I haven't got the eyeshadow on my finger. I'm just going to push that into the skin, and I just loved, and I've got my fake tan on. I couldn't actually include that because it's the James Reed Self Glow one. So you've got a bit more on that one than I have on this cheek. I'm making sure that I'm not going too close here because it's going to bring my face in. I want up and out. I'm just going to do that there, do that there. Now the thing is with these cream blushes, you sort of have to have this placement like this. Okay, and you need to almost a bit like concealer. Allowing it to sit for a moment gives you much more longevity, because these cream blushes, not these, but cream blushes, naturally, because of their formulations, do tend to dilute slightly and don't last as long as maybe as a powder would. But if you let the colour sit and then just literally, I mean, it's super, super delicate. Just put a little bit on my nose to migrate that colour. So, so nice. So again, just keeping that from my pupils straight down, keeping that nice and clear, because that gives width to your face, and just pushing that into the skin. Looks so, so delicate. So that is the matte cream version. And then I thought a little bit of candlelight as a combination looks so pretty. And these applicators are lovely. So I'm just going to put that onto my hand, squidge a bit, because look, oh, that's my biggest bugbear. Look, it's wasted product. So, you know, there are other brands that do these at sort of 5 times the price. You don't get that, so be very, very careful how you squeeze that out. So I'm going to use the applicator that it comes with, and I'm just going to chase that, not like, well, like I say, around my fine lines. I've just gone literally over my fine lines, my smile lines, but I don't want to go too close, and I want to just take that right across my lid as well, bringing that in, and a little bit of the highlight just there. Okay, and then when you get your brush, it's still got the blush on, don't just sweep like this, push the highlight in to the blusher, okay? So you've still got that lovely shape of light here, but you've just got this nice hit and warmth of that lovely softness. Cute, right? It's so delicate, it's a lovely bridal look. And you can do this similar combination. So I'm just going to use the sponge from a bit off my hand. Hopefully now you won't make that error. A little bit across, a little bit underneath. And it's the uniforming of the makeup that makes everything kind of work together. Just keeping it really subtle. That sort of no makeup, bringing it down into the blush, but just really sort of enjoying that lovely hint of colour, which is so nice. So I highly recommend this finish. And of course, you can just go to your lips and add a little bit of that. Oh no, it's too pale. Too pale with the warmth of my skin. That's actually too metallic, so just ignore that tip. But what we could do is actually go in. Let's see what this, I think this will still be too pale. Which is nice. It's kind of like that sort of 60s vibe, but not the look I was going for. I mean, it's got its own personality with that paler lip, but it's not for today. So yes, bin that idea, but it's nice to try because sometimes it does work. Let me just remove this extra bit here. I wonder whether I could just do a tad more. Let's get rid of that lip. Could actually probably do a little bit more on the lid. Such a pretty, pretty colour. Bringing it forward a bit more. And that's why the matte spectra eyeshadows are nice too, because you can kind of add anything you want to it. So that could be a gold or a whiter colour. Nice, lovely. So it has to be the lip that I love the most for the texture that I've been wearing myself. Sometimes I just like to come home, scrub makeup off, and then just chuck on a lip and go out if I'm going to see girlfriends and just not have anything around my eyes. It's the 241 by 3Inner, and it is just such a lovely texture which lasts. I think I've used this before. A lovely tomatoey red. super bright, but it doesn't move. That's what I love about it. I feel confident because it doesn't go into my many little tributaries around my lips. I'm going to nudge that up very slightly. I don't need a lip liner. It's nice and simple. And the wonderful thing with this brand is that if you like one colour, that colour 241 runs like against blushes, eyeshadows, liners. It's really, really great. I did that because it's a Spanish brand, and they're like, well, if you don't speak Spanish or you're travelling and you want to make sure you've got the right colour, 241 is easy because everyone knows that. There's no language needed. It's just kind of an interesting thought, really. And designing a makeup brand. See how that just softens it? Using that tip of the bud to stretch the colour into the corners. Because you don't want to bring the lipstick too into the corners, because it can, depending on the shape of your mouth, bring it down. So you want to make sure the corners of your lips stay up. So what I will do, either with a bit of powder or literally a bit of concealer, and I will use a tiny little brush now actually, teeny weeny. Just make sure I've got that and that. And then a little bit just to really enhance. I'll put lipstick on there now, I think. Soften that through. It's kind of like a reverse liner, isn't it, when you put the highlight underneath, because it's a little bit lighter than my skin tone. But once you blend it in, maybe not with the red side of the bud, Caroline, it just adds that nice little je ne sais quoi, just like you can't really see what's going on, but it's sort of slightly perfected it. And there we go. Lots of variety, I hope. Lots of lovely skin tips and advice. And I saw a lovely lady on the tube. I was going down, I was coming back home, so I think I was going on the Northern line. And this lovely lady, she looked so dressed up, and she was holding a big party, I think, for a corporate event. And she's like, oh, Caroline, I've tried to follow your films, and do I look good? And oh, my makeup, I've put it on, but I'm not sure about it. And she looked absolutely lovely. And what a thrill that was. She screamed my name. I thought, God, do I know you? But then she's like, oh no, I follow your channel. That was really, really nice. So I'm glad that some of my tips, well, I know that you take it on board. It's just really nice to see it in reality. So there we go. Some bargains there. I hope you can love and enjoy. And I wish you a lovely August. I wish you lots of relaxation, time with friends and family if you can. But maybe if you haven't got kids in school holidays, you're just staying at home and chilling, because why on earth would you go away when everyone with all their kids are away? But aside from that, I look forward to seeing you in September. Thanks so much for all your love and support, and stay safe and well. Bye for now.